So using tasks within your daily operation, especially when you're communicating within any organization, whether you're a salesperson, I guess if you're working the counter at McDonald's, this may not be as applicable, but if you're a professional, absolutely tracking tasks is critical to success in the future. I'm going to show it to you with we're going to focus on three primary areas where task management truly makes a difference. First is inspiration. So people want more than anything time. They like their time. And being able to show through task management and reporting, it's not the tasks necessarily that are so important. That is stuff that you're doing anyways. So a lot of people view task management as this arduous exercise or additional effort that they need to do. But the reality is that they're already doing it today. They're either doing it in an organized manner or they're doing it in a less organized manner. For example, they may be collecting all of the information that they need to know about in an Outlook folder, and then they sort through and try to find information buried within those email messages. Or they may store all of their attachments in a SharePoint server somewhere and then spend what is the national average in the United States, 1.5 hours a day trying to find information to do their work. This is the information age. We are going through a transition in our lives in the way we deal with things because of the unabridged flow of data that we're receiving in our lives. It comes to us as structured and unstructured data. It's just too much. So today, it's time to start getting a hold of your organization, who you're managing, if you're a leader of an organization, or if you're a contributor to that organization. It's time to get organized, and task management is the way to go. So you can provide inspiration to people that you're working with within your organization through your task management. Nothing to do with them. What you're viewing here is my task management. It has nothing to do with anybody else, but it has everything to do with everybody else. What I mean by that is nobody's putting forth any effort except for me in managing the tasks. Obviously, the tasks are being done by multiple people, but the organization of it is just being done with me. And I'm not spending hours every day. I'm talking in 30 minutes, maybe, to keep everything on track. This is with thousands of tasks. So this is not overly difficult when you use automation the way it's intended to be used. Second thing you can do with task management is pure transparency. If you are not communicating within the organizations, within your organization, the sub-organizations, I can almost guarantee you that in the absence of information comes doubt. And the close cousin to doubt is negativity. And so if you're struggling in an organization to truly make a cultural change within that organization, get your tasks in order. Be able to provide a chart like we see here, which I'm going to go over here in just a minute. Be able to do that within your organization. And the third thing is leadership. Under leadership, your leaders, the people who you report to, and everybody reports to somebody, whoever you report to does not want to understand the intricate details of every task. Almost guaranteed that they do not want to understand that. What they want to understand is that you're making progress and that you have a plan, that the tasks are laid out. And yeah, they may be able to associate with some of the task names. So naming these tasks are important. But outside of that, they're not going to really want to know all of the details. Most likely, you can provide that to them if they want, but they just want to know that it's being done. So let's look at the dashboard. That was a long introduction to why you want to do Task Manager. I'm going to show you a few things. Now, to create this, what you see on the screen here, this dashboard, this is all done using a Microsoft SharePoint list with a Power App front end. That's it. Nothing else. We're not using Power BI. That's it. And this report is available with one click. Now, depending upon your leadership, they may not want it in a usable online report where they can click and find out for themselves. Reality is they may just want to see it like you see it here on the screen. That's okay too. You can do a screenshot, and it's been developed in a way that you can do screenshots easily as well. So here's a couple best practices, and we'll walk through what this looks like. First of all, let's look there in the lower left-hand corner of your screen on what is it that we're doing on this Gantt chart. So this Gantt chart is a pretty Gantt chart. It shows different colors. You can see everything's in green, but when things start slipping off and there's a caution to the timeline, the timeline turns orange. And then if we're going to have slippage in the task itself or the milestone, it turns red. And so those lines on the Gantt chart, the big green ones, can change colors, but they do it automatically. They do it automatically. You just enter in a value, or it calculates a value, and it automatically changes the color for you. Pretty nice. Now, inside of each one of those Gantt chart lines there, and you can see it all with the arrows pointing there, here, this filtering task, 0032, the last four numbers. You can see critical information that's being shared. This is one glance information. For most leaders, that's all they need. They just need a quick glance, something that takes them less than a second to see. And so here we have that information. We have the next action date represented with the gray circle there. Now that circle, as you can see, we'll show another one here. Notice on data consolidation targets, notice the circle is past the start date. So the two ends, and you can see that here on the lower part, targeted due date and targeted start date. That's the beginning and end of the line on the Gantt chart. And then the gray circle indicates when that task is going to be looked at again. When is the next follow-up? Sometimes things take time, right? And so when you're assigning tasks and delegating them throughout the organization, you're going to just have people working on things. It's not necessarily that it's being done, but the gray circle there in this example, the data consolidation targets, the gray circle just indicates that somebody is working it, that it's alive, that it still works. Okay, percentage complete. How far along are you with the task? Is it looking like you're tracking? Of course, the colors of the Gantt chart, we talked about that. Who is working that, right? So do you have a specific organization or unit that's working that? And then who within that organization or unit are working that information, right? Who's working the task? And then finally, the criticality of the task, right? Is it essential, nice to have, critical? Those are all key terms that can be set within the task just as indicators for the task itself. So that's important information. Looking at the whole task screen itself, this screen was designed to be copied and pasted into a PowerPoint presentation. It's done by design that way. And what you can't see illustrated on the screen is above the task health statistics, the blue boxes on the top of your screen there. You can see there's filter choices there. So you can actually click on different filters and have, for example, all your critical tasks appear and things like that. But I don't want all those filters in my report. I just want it to be clean like this. So you put those outside so that you kind of keep in mind what it is that you're going to do a screen capture of and how you can efficiently capture that screen. Now, the blue boxes across the top represent what I call task health statistics. Now I've actually modified these since this screenshot, and I'll tell you as I'm going through them what they mean and what the modifications are. The two most critical ones, in my opinion, are the created, so second from the left, and modified, third from the left. So 33 and 45 are the two numbers. So this indicates the health of the initiative or initiatives that are being worked. This may be, in this example, this is the CDO dashboard. So this represents all tasks that impact this organization that I'm working for. Now, this is all of their tasks that I'm working in their behalf, right? That's what they're paying me to do. This does not represent all of the tasks that I'm working as an individual, right? I may have training that I'm working or set travel to do this. Those tasks aren't represented in this Gantt chart, only the ones that are important to the command that I'm working for. So here, the created. Why are created so important? This shows that we're making new tasks and making progress. Now, this number typically is going to be lower than the next number, which is modified. Modified means that the task is being worked. Data has been entered into it. Modifications have been made to its content. All good indicators that it's not stagnant. Then I'm not just showing you a Gantt chart that has a bunch of tasks on it and nothing's being done. So the critical things here are to show them that leadership and stakeholders within the organization that are impacted by these tasks, that progress is being made. So the gray dot within the task line, as we discussed with the data consolidation targets, and the created and modified, critical to communicating that all is well, that we're alive and ticking. Active tasks is okay. It's just showing that there are certain, how many tasks are currently being worked on this timeline and this Gantt chart. And then completed tasks within 180 days. Are we completing tasks? So the overdue and the completed tasks and the active tasks really are the week-to-week statistics, right? If somebody was to look at your dashboard in week 1 of the month and then week 4 of the month, are those numbers changing? I don't represent those on the screen because, frankly, with most discussions that I have with leadership, it doesn't really matter that much. So really, the created and modified are really the key takeaways from this section, are the tasks being worked regularly. And those dates I've changed to every 7 days. Overdue I've changed to 14 days. And completed I've changed to 14 days. Just so I get a little more focused look on what activity is going on week by week. Now, before we leave, I wanted to show you one last thing. So it's critical here not just to understand the tasks, and this is my sample environment that I'm going to show here, not just to understand the tasks and the dashboard, but to understand how those tasks are managed as well. So now this happens to be an interface that I go over in another video how to build this. It's actually not that tough to build. And you don't see a lot of tasks. In my active one, I think I usually manage, me personally, about 70 or 80 tasks at a time. So my overdues, past and future, will appear here. So as I'm working during the day, for example, today's the 19th, here, the 10th, I had a task that was due that I let slip. So as I look at my day, what I want to focus on, and this goes back to the 7 Habits by Steve Covey, what I want to focus on is what I need to do today. I know that I have these, what he would call big rocks, floating about around me, but I want to know what it is that I need to do today. Now, this does not represent, I have another one that says priority, so you can actually, oh, it's right here actually. So this is the minutes. So let's move this task to show you how this works. So as I'm looking at my day, I want to go ahead and see which one of these is most important. So I know that these are the tasks I want to focus on today, and I can see the ones in the future and the ones in the past and way in the future, meaning the future that extends beyond 3 days. And here I'm just going to say, oh, okay, let me see. Understanding the cost of Alabama taxes is more important than selling PDFs online. And then when I do that, now it automatically within that day reorganizes my tasks so that I can immediately start jumping right to the tasks. I don't have to wait. I don't have to think about it. I can just do. So I can click on here, and now I can begin seeing everything, all of the tax information that I collected related to this task and all the other fields that I have in here. And of course, the automatic timer that's capturing my time if this is billable. And so I can see all of that just within this view. I can update, I can work the task. Now notice I'm not being distracted by everything else around me. The task screen is just what I'm working. Here's public information, here's next, here's checkpoints, here's work information. Because this is a personal thing, I'm just kind of putting it all in public. But normally you would put this is a summary section that you want others to see. This is the next things that you want, maybe some checkpoints along the way. And then here are the working notes. So what you're actually doing to make the task happen. Okay? You can see other values and things like that. Okay, so here, all that I need is right here. I can add attachments, I can add subtasks, I can do all kinds of things here within this environment. And then when I'm done, I can hit save my changes and I go right back to this section. So let's say I'm working on this, I get done with it for the day and I say, okay, I want to work on that on the 30th. And I'm going to move the due date of that out to the 29th. Boom. I'm going to just hit save. And now automatically in my view, notice that it automatically shifts it over here to a future task. Now I could say, hey, I want to move that to the 21st because that's what I want. I'm looking through my tasks. I see it's important. Boom. It automatically appears. So all of this, when you get done with this, all of this is showing up on your Gantt chart. Now, this is a little different view of the Gantt chart, but all of it's showing up on your Gantt chart itself, and I can just view things that I want to look at, things like that. So it becomes very easy to use. The key takeaway here from this video is get tasks going in your environment. If you need help, I have a lot of videos on how to get started. It's really not that tough. When I come in to work in the morning, I immediately can just jump right to here. In fact, this is my opening screen at work, and I can immediately just go for it, right? If I'm worried about a task or I get an update in an email, the reason why we use unique identifiers, if I get an update, maybe I send this task out to somebody else, I can, boom, immediately go in and begin to update that information. Very, very simple, very easy to use, and it will help you, I promise, in communicating more efficiently with those around you.